So, realignment news to get to today. We had Mountain West Commissioner Gloria Nevarez on the show last week. She and Mike Oreska from the AAC will deliver expansion presentations in the coming days to officials from Washington State and Oregon State. And this is from Ross Dellinger. Their pursuit of the Cougars and Beavers is accelerating as the ACC discussions with Stanford and Cal intensify. So I wonder what spot is better for them. The Mountain West geographically makes sense. The AAC is a little bit more spread out and always kind of has been, but
I think right now the American, because the drop down from competition is going to be not as significant if you go to the American than it would be if you go to the Mountain West. While there are a lot of programs in both conferences that are on par with each other, I think generally speaking, when you have two lanes, when you have got a program like a UTSA coming in, SMU in general, that holds more weight to me. And I think you'll see better competition week in and week out if you're Washington State and Oregon State. My biggest concern with this is how big is the revenue cut going to be for each program? How many coaches and coach positions are you going to have to fire and fill? How do you navigate your NIL? It's just from a financial standpoint, it puts both of those programs, regardless, in crisis mode. And it sucks. But I think ultimately, if you're looking at a competitive balance, I would prefer to go to the American if I'm those two programs.
Yeah. I mean, but right now it gets to a little bit of splitting hairs because you're talking about SMU is probably going to leave.
Right.
So what's a better league for you? UAB, Charlotte, ECU, Memphis, Rice, Tulsa, Wichita State, which is basketball, Temple, Tulane, North Texas. I mean, UTSA, right? So
that's what I'm saying. Like pound for pound, I think it's better, even if you did lose SMU.
Yeah. Versus Air Force, Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Hawaii, Nevada, New Mexico, San Diego State. To me, I think you are
splitting hairs.
I don't think you're going to get more respect in one rather than the other.
I think regardless, you're going to run it. It's going to be Washington State and Oregon State year in and year out, controlling the conference in probably almost every sport, regardless. But, if you wanted to save money, say, we're already going to have this massive financial cutback, let's just keep it regionally. I think that makes the most sense. But just competitive balance top to bottom, I still have to go back to the American. But it's an interesting situation they find themselves in.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you do if you're Oregon State or Washington State. I don't know who's got the better, who's got the more money. Here's the thing. The answer is going to be is who's got the more money and and what money makes sense.
Right.
So if you're going to make $2 million more in the AAC, but you're going to spend it all on travel and then maybe go in a deficit, is that worth it? Or is it best to take what I don't know. I would think that their deals are mostly the same, but I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah, but then you also have the caveat, because every time we bring up expansion or anything, it's always, okay, well, this team, all right, UCF's coming to the Big 12, right? So that opened up the Texas market for them as far as recruiting goes. So if you're one of those programs, Washington State or Oregon State, do you say, okay, well, I'm going to the American because that puts me inside of Texas. Now I can recruit Texas. Or does that even matter at that point for those programs?
I don't know how much it matters. I think they probably want to recruit California more, and that means
generally speaking,
go to the Mountain West. But yeah, I don't know. I think just right now it's about money. They can figure all the other stuff. The problem for them is going to be is that as soon as those coaches, like I said before,
can you hold on to them? I don't think you can.
Can you Oregon State's got a great chance to hold on to Jonathan Smith a little bit longer just because he's an alum, but if Chip Kelly left UCLA tomorrow and they want to hire Jonathan Smith, he's probably going to go there. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But again, if you're a Pac school and you want to hire Jonathan Smith, I think that it's kind of, or an old Pac school, a Big Ten school, or somebody like, yeah, Kyle Whittingham retires. Right? He's an older guy. Yeah. You're Utah. I think my first choice is my first call might be to Jonathan Smith or somebody like that who knows the West Coast and who knows that recruiting that they were doing. I mean, granted, it might change as they go into the Big 12, but even still, like that's a decision that's going to be tough no matter. And that's going to happen in the AAC or the Mountain West.
Right.
And I use him as an example, but you can also look, Washington State, like that's the difference that they're going to have to adjust to, is that they'll probably still be able to be competitive. They're probably going to do well in their leagues, but the money they have to retain coaches and all of that is just not going to be there anymore.
Do you? I just thought about this. Would it, at the end of the day, I know that from the money aspect, it sucks and it's not going to matter. But if you're Washington State and Oregon State and you go to either one of those conferences, you're automatically in a better position to make the college football playoff than you would be staying in the Pac, right? So that means you have better opportunity to capture that. I mean, you have to make a run at it, but you still got better an opportunity to make the money that way. I don't know how much of a deficit that would offset. I doubt hardly any, but legitimately, you would, at the end of the day, you would have a better opportunity to year in and year out compete for the college football playoff than you would staying in the Pac.
Yeah, absolutely. I do. I think you have a better shot. Other spots to do it. I just don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah. I just don't know. I mean, like that's a tough choice. Is like if I mean, this is where they're headed. One or the other they're going to be headed to. And I would assume they're going to probably go together.
Right.
One's not going to go like, well, we'd like to go to the AAC, and the other one's going to go to the Mountain West. I think they'd probably like to stay together wherever they go. But I mean, again, they're not in the same state. They're not governed by the same board. None of those things. They are going to be able to pretty much do whatever each individual school wants to do. So could we see one and one and the other? I guess. But I think both conferences are going to want both of them.
Well, and also
they can probably negotiate better as a team.
Well, I also think like if you've gone through this, right? Like I feel like you've probably formed some sort of a mutual bond going forward. Like you're going to have each other's back. I don't think there's any way you separate those two at all.
Yeah,
none.
No. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.